Hey guys, it's Peter Jordan, and welcome to the Lost Angler Fly Shop. And today we're going to be tying a pattern that I came up with. I call it the Jordan Swimming Minnow. So this guy is pretty cool. He uses a CGH Swim Tail, gives him a nice action. You tie him in a tremendous variety of colors, and it's a really simple fly to tie up. And this also can be tied weedless if you so desire. So right now, killer little pattern. You can tie it in bigger sizes, smaller sizes, whatever you want to do. This guy's pretty good sized. But yeah, stick around. Let's get him tied up. Alright guys, so today we're going to start out with a Gamakatsu B10S size 1 hook. And we are going to go ahead and just put a nice thread wrap over the entire thing. Uh-oh. Thread decided to be roguish on the bobbin. Alright, there we go. Right on. Alright. So we did a good thread wrap all the way up. First thing we're going to add to it is going to be some Mason's hard nylon in the 25-pound class. And we're going to be using this to build a weed guard, because we're going to be bass fishing with this guy. Now, granted, this is a great pattern for inshore species as well, so no worries there. So we're going to grab this, put it through here. I love this about a peak vise on the jaws. Now I'm going to bring it on back around and let it hang out over here. Out of my way. All right. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go all the way down the hook shank on this. We're going to go a little bit down the bend. The further down the bend of the hook you go with this style of weed guard, the more effective it is at keeping you from getting hung up. Just remember, the other side of that is the further down you go with this, the harder it is to set the hook. That Mason's hard nylon isn't going to want to get out of the way as easily, so just kind of keep that in mind. Now, one thing I have learned is that 2 or 3 fish in, this is going to kind of get kicked around a little bit. So what I like to do is I like to take some thin loon and just kind of go over it real quick. And we're going to UV that up. Good to go. All right. Now, one thing that's pretty cool little trick I do want to show you guys is anytime you're using Loon epoxy, the clear UV, one thing you can do to get rid of that tackiness, this is on your eyes, also cleans up everything, is what you can do is you can come up here, take an alcohol prep swab, go over it, never be tacky again. And you can use this same swab throughout the entire thing. I buy these at Sam's and they come in the 1 million pack, so no worries there. Alright, so now that we got going, the next thing we're going to add real quick is we're going to be adding a scud body to this. So this is the hairline rib scud body. Scud body. And we're going to tie this down the shank of the hook, down the bend, okay? The reason we're going to do this is it's going to help that fly keel, and also it's going to give me some weight. I want this fly to drop, but I want it to drop level, so I don't want it to have a jigging action per se. And I went over the weed guard, wrapping it on around. Now this is another good time that you can come back, hit it with a little more loon, and ensure that that's not going anywhere. Let's go back over it again. We're using this pattern for sea trout, for largemouth bass, for striped bass. I had one of my customers, he took it down to South America recently, and he just hit peacock bass with it, and he did really well. So we want to make sure it's as durable as possible. All right, now next thing we're going to do is we're going to be adding the swim tail. I don't remember if you guys, let's see, we have another video called the Lazer. It shows how to put these together. But just for the sake of making life easy, we're going to do it again. So we're going to take this from being an ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic to something we can use to make a swim tail. And these tails were invented by my buddy Carl Harris at CGH. He does some really cool stuff. So if you guys want to check that out online, that's CGH Custom Tackle. He does some really cool stuff. I definitely recommend you guys take a look at his stuff. He's a neat dude. Alright, so we got this, and what we did was we cut a relief strip in here. We cut it in here too, so then when we fold this over, this is going to sit level, sit flat, and then we're going to take these two pieces, we're going to glue them together. Again, watch the other video for a much more in-depth look at how to do this. It's not hard. If I can do it, anybody can. A little super glue. Make sure you use the gel super glue because it is a suede leather. So if you use the liquid super glue, the leather does not like it. There we got it. Take that. We're going to do our tail, fold it over, done. Nice and quick. We built our tail. I don't know how much of that you guys could see. All right, next thing. We want this to be a fairly long tail because we want this to be a pretty good size fly. So I'm going to come right here with it, right at the bend. All right, got that right there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here with my Mason's hard nylon. I'm going to get just a little bit because I just need it to be just enough to, there we go, keep this tail from fouling around the hook. So now I'm going to take this hard nylon, I'm going to lay it against the shaft of the hook, shank of the hook, and I'm going to tack it down with some thread. And guys, we're using clear monofilament thread. This is Danville .006 clear monofilament thread. Alright, and another thing you can do to kind of help this guy, everything stay in a good alignment, you're going to go past right there, tie that hard mono up some, trim off your excess, alright, right on. Now we're going to take it and we're going to bring this over, pull it up nice and tight, bring it to the other side. Okay, now we're going to take and make sure that our monofilament is roughly the same length as this little tab we got. We're going to cover that little bit of mono in some super duper glue or Zap-A-Gap, whatever you want to use. Just happen to be using super glue, crazy glue or whatever. It's crazy glue, super glue. Alright, got that covered in real good. And what I like to do first is I like to lay this down on there and then press it in the middle. Just sandwich that together. That's going to hold everybody in line. One of the reasons I really love the Mason's hard nylon for this is if you hit, let's say you get a fish that just knocks the living fire out of this, you can bend that Mason's hard nylon and get to hold that shape. So I really like that about it. Boom, there we are. Awesome, and I still have hands, so that's a big plus. And that's going to keep it up. All right, now, Next thing, we're going to flip our hook over, and we are going to be adding some EP Thunderstruck. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on the bottom. Bring it over. And we'll trim this out later to make it perfect. Next, now that we've got that, we're going to add some bunny strip. And this is the Silky Bunny Boo from Hairline. It's so nice. And we're just going to get a little bit off. This is one of those things, again, just remember it's easier to trim it off later. And this is in black. And you can do this in any color you want, man. This is so cool. And this leather strip colors up really well as well. So we're going to go right here. I'm going to pull the hairs apart. The best thing to do, lick your fingers, pull it, so that what I'm left with is that bare skin. Then I'm going to take it, come right on up with it. Bam. I'm just going to tack it down. I don't want to do anything special with it. I just want to tack it down, 2 or 3 wraps. We're going to get it out of the way. Next thing, we're going to come in, we're going to take Chocklett's Filler Flash. This is in pearl. They make a ton of great colors to be whatever you want it to be. We're doing this in a nice black and white shad kind of color. And we're going to take a length of it. We're going to go all the way back with it to where that hair is. We're going to come up here. Put my bobbin on the mountains, get it out of the way. My peak vise. The trick is, as I spin it around the hook shank, is to pull the fibers back out of the way. Take it, spin it over. You know what, I could do this a lot easier. I'm going to take my loon hackle pliers, go a little bit up it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it as I go around. I'm just going to pull it back, lift it over. 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 So on and so forth. We're going to keep on coming on around. And what I like about this filler flash is it doesn't hold any water. And if you're noticing, I'm doing some fairly nice loose wraps. I'm going to be tying a few of these today, so I just pull a nice length of this filler flash off so that as I go, I can use it again. Oh, unravel my thread. It's easy to fix. Lots and lots of wraps up here. Alright, back ring. Alright, as we go, remember, take it, pull. Take it up. Okay, now we're going to leave ourselves a little bit of a gap here, right by the eye, a little bit back from the eye, because we're going to need to add some more material. We also need to have room to tie in our weed guards. So we're going to come on up here with it, bring it on around, tie this guy off, bam, good to go. And I got plenty to do another fly with. Let me get this weed guard back out of the way. probably the easiest way. I like to slide mine through right there. And I'm going to take that hackle plier I've got. Clip it to that weed guard. Keep it out of the way. Alrighty. Alright, let's get everybody in order. So we got everything pulled back, everything's in a good spot. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take my black Zonker strip and I'm going to bring it up and over. Now what happens is if I leave this filler flash up here like this, it's going to really kind of get in the way and you're not going to see that good Zonker strip. So come in with your scissors and you just want to kind of cut the top portion off. That way that you get full credit for that Zonker strip. There we go. Now we're going to take that Zonker strip, pull it right on up. Now when it gets right where you want it, just remember to pull those hairs back on that Zonker strip. Advance it forward, cut off the excess. Good to go. What I really like about this pattern is when it pauses, this rabbit strip just breathes really well, and this is going to continue to kind of wiggle in the water. I really like that about it. Step one, we're going to take some red ice dub in UV. Alright, we're going to take it. Remember, anytime we're dealing with ice dub, we just want to pull it, get all the fibers at a uniform length. A little goes a long way. Put this guy on the bottom real quick. Alright. Alright, now I got it. Flip this over. Now I'm going to take some ice dub UV. This is the Minnow backing pearl. Now what I tell folks is just kind of imagine all the different colors you can come up with. So now I've got that Minnow backing pearl. Pull it out. Stack all my fibers. And I got a pretty good size little bit here. Nothing crazy, but pretty good size. Make sure it laid on there nice. There you go. Everybody's in a good position. Now I'm going to come up with it some. Advance that thread up a little bit. Now I'm going to fold that ice back. That Minnow back. Is it Minnow back? Minnow pearl back. There you go. Over. And I'm going to take that red, which is going to make the throat of that fly. Bring it on over. Nice and tight. Very good. And that's going to give some nice coloration to it. Next, we're going to come in with some Senyo's Laser Dub in black and some Senyo's Laser Dub in white. And what I want to stress is take this time right now to get a hold to that Laser Dub in red. Make sure everybody's where you want it to be. Straighten it out. This is a good time to kind of force your material around. All right. Now we're going to take that Laser Dub in black. We'll pull this guy out. Again, same thing again. Make sure you pull your dubbing material out. Don't overdo it a lot. A little goes a long, long way. Think of this dubbing material as being kind of like cologne, if you will. A little's great, but a lot's too much. If any of y'all have teenagers at home like I do, you'll understand exactly what I mean. Anyway. Or maybe not just teenagers. We all know somebody who overdoes it. Alright, same thing again. I'm going to take that white, take it, pull it out, get everybody in order, straighten everybody out, get all your fibers around the same length, get everybody doing what they need to do. Lay it on that hook shank. Tie it over. Same thing again, guys. Take that black, pull it on over. Tie it on up. And once you've pulled the black back, then we're going to bring that white over. As you guys can see, that little bit did a lot. Perfect. Very nice. Very nice. Love it. Now, if you want to, you can repeat these steps again. I'm pretty happy with this because I am going to be adding weed guard and I am going to be adding eyes. Take your brush, brush this guy out. Make sure he's going to be where you want him to be, how you like it. Then trim up a little bit of that excess. Nice. I think I am going to go a little bit more on the black and the white. So again, I'm going to take my black laser dub. I'd already gotten this in line earlier. Bring it on over. All right, flip it on over. Let's get that white in the mix. And again, guys, a little goes a long way. All right, as we go back, take it, stroke this out. That ensures that everything's going to lay down the way you want it. Bam, there we go. All right, that's plenty of room for a nice eye. Plenty of room for our weed guard. All right, so what I like to do for my weed guard is I like to take it and I like to bring it up through the eye. Now you don't have to do that. You can also lay it up against the hook. I found it's easiest to keep it in line with what you want it to do by bringing it up through the eye. So it brings it up, trim off your excess, and you can use this excess right here for another weed guard or whatever else. Then we're going to take it. Loose wrap, come on back. Boom. Very nice. Now we're going to tie this guy off. But before we do, let's take a look. I don't want too much of a gap here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to pull on it. Rogue quick draw forceps. I'm going to clip it on right here. And all I'm doing is just giving a little wiggle. So get a hold to it, close to the eye, and pull. little by little, like that. Otherwise, you'll pull too tight and it'll come way too far up. And that's all we want. We want a little bit of a gap, but not too much of a gap. Now we're going to come in, tie this guy off. All right, so we got all that worked out. So that came out good. The next thing we want to do is we just want to tie this puppy off. And finish it or whatever you want. It don't matter. I'm going to use 2 double half hitches. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Because it's that head cement. I'm just going to hold it. Or in this case, a little bit of loom. Alright, right on. So that's all tied off and done. And just to make sure we go nice and quick through this next little bit, I'm going to grab some loom flow. I really like using loom flow because it really gets down in these threads. So when I'm tying something off, big fan. Now do yourself a favor, we are going to have to clear this out. So what you want to do is when we're putting this on there, make sure that you don't make the terrible error of getting any of that loom in the eye of that hook. Because if you do, oh my goodness, you ain't never getting this out. But you see how using that clear monofilament, as soon as a head cement or whatever else hits it, it just turns clear. So you never have the wrong color thread. You always have the right color thread. It's always going to match what you're tying. It's just so simple. So simple. I love it. All right, it came out real nice. Next thing, we're going to take our bodkin and a lighter, and we're going to burn this guy out. That's all there is to it. Nice and clean. Eye hole is in great shape. Everything looks good, good, good. All right, next up. Now that we did that little miracle, let's add some eyeballs to it. Now, anytime I use a black shad sort of color, I always like yellow eyes. I've seen folks that use any color eye you want to. It doesn't really matter. We're going to be using some nice gold eyes that we got here at the store. These are 8mm. Gold eyes, 3D gold holographic eyes. And what I like to do first, this is my little trick, what I want to do first is I like to take it and I want to put it on the fly first. Just take a look at it, make sure I like where that's going to be at. Then I go back, pull the eye off the fly, put a little super glue on it, drop it right back down. This gives me a chance to make sure I'm really happy with it, make sure everybody's in alignment. And it really helps if you get up out of the chair and take a look at it. Make sure everything's where you want it to be. Looks nice. I like it. Okay, Picasso. All right. We're going to come in right here. Pull that eye off. Place it back down again. And a little goes a long way. You don't want to stick your fingers to the fly. Or worse yet, to the eye and mess up that really pretty holographic look. Which is easy to do. All right. So when I mean a little bit, I mean just a little bit. It's just to hold it in place until we take some good loom and get that down looking nice, okay? All right, now we're going to take it, lay it down. Make sure that's going to be the same. And see what I've done is I've rotated it, so now I can see both sides at the same time. And that's going to come out really nice. Yay! Now we're going to give it a second to cure with the super glue. Give it a chance to dry a little bit. Then we're going to bust back out that Loon Thin. And I'm going to go over the entire eye. And then I'm going to bring it back up over so that I've got a continuous surface of that Loon epoxy going over. And this is, I cannot tell you guys, this 100% makes a huge difference in how well it's going to hold your eye in place, how many fish this eye is going to survive. It makes all the difference in the world going over the entire eye. I'm going to flip this over for the next eye and show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to flip it over, let you guys see exactly what I'm doing. And again, it makes a tremendous difference in how well this eye is going to hold up fish after fish after fish after fish after fish. And this is what we're going for. We want to get a lot of fish out of this fly. Good deal. All right, so here we go. You guys can see what I'm doing. All right, let me get up so I can see what I'm doing. The entire surface of the eye. I'm going to bring it on up. Bring it on over, okay? Now that I've got that, I'm going to use my Loon bench light. And in case you're wondering, yes, we are a Loon store. We are a Loon authorized dealer, so we got all the really cool stuff. Like the new Ergo bobbin I was using, just had a chance to use that for the first time. Really nice. And got all the different Loon epoxies, and so we got you covered. All kinds of good stuff. And yes, we are a Peak dealer as well, so we do have Peaks. Peak vices, although this has been my personal vice that I've owned before we became a Peak dealer. So this is the vice that I chose to buy myself. All right. Cool. So that's all done, and we're going to remember to use our little trick with our alcohol swab. Bam, there we go. And that's it, guys. That's all there is to it. Nice, simple, easy fly. If you want to ride higher in the water column, skip the scud weight. Not a big deal. If you don't want to be weedless, skip the weed guard. So, change out your colors, try different things, and you're off to the races. Guys, thanks for watching. Remember, stop by here in Daphne, Alabama. We're within the Delta Marine and Outfitter store. So come on in. We're right here in the back. We've also got TFO, Scott, Winston, Bauer, Lamson, whole nine yards. We got a really phenomenal shop for you guys to come check out. Love to see you. We're here open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6. And we'll see you on the water.